Hey my perfume friends, it's Kat and I am back today to talk about some of my most successful blind buys. Now this is a follow-on from a video I just put up where I talked about probably my 5 biggest fails when it comes to blind buys. I explained what blind buying is, why I occasionally do it, why you probably shouldn't do it if you can avoid it, and then when I sort of take risks. I generally take risks with Middle Eastern fragrances because there's no way I can sort of smell them in store and they're generally pretty cheap. So that's where I tend to do my blind buying. But this video is more about the success stories. I do also want to flag that some of these will end up being in my top fragrances of the year because I love, particularly this top 4. I love, love, love. They are so good that I'm so glad I took the risk. And this is where sometimes blind buying can pay off because I wouldn't have been able to smell these in store and they were totally worth the risk. So my first one is this baby. This packaging is crazy. So it's this beautiful red glass. It's super heavy. It's got this sort of rose gold detailing with these sort of jewels on it. And this is from Orientica. So this is like their premium line. Again, a Middle Eastern fragrance. I get this brand off Fragrance Net when there's sales. Wait for sales. This is Amber Rouge. Now, a little bit of a backstory. This is apparently a dupe for the ever so famous Baccarat Rouge. I have smelt that in store. It's a very expensive fragrance. I think it's like $400 or $500 in Australia for like a full like big bottle. Really expensive. When I've smelt it in store, which it's available in Mecca, I either get like disinfectant, like you've just been into like a doctor's office or a dentist, like strong disinfectant that's really off-putting, or occasionally I get a very, very soft sort of really beautiful burnt sugar cotton candy, sort of really beautiful, really pretty, really like yummy scent to it, but it's very, very weak. So for me, I've never really understood the appeal. Now, when I saw reviews on this, people were saying it's essentially Baccarat Rouge stronger, but without that sharp sort of chemical smell that a lot of people get. And this is divine. Like I have quite a big dent in it, so down to here. When it did arrive, it had actually leaked a little bit, but this stuff, holy, I love this. There's something a little bit, I want to say molecular about it, but I get this sort of beautiful sugar. It's a little bit like, I'm thinking like pink sugar. I'm thinking maybe like slight strawberry, berry. I don't know. It's amazing. Whenever I wear this, I get compliments. Like I wore this to an event, a work event, and as soon as I walked in, people were like, who smells good? And I'm like, that would be me. So if you didn't understand the hype of Baccarat Rouge, or you liked it but didn't like the price, or you liked it but sometimes had that chemical disinfectant smell that I get majority of the time from it, this one will be your best friend. I love this. It is one that I reach for often because it is stunning. I love it. It's definitely one of my most used fragrances. It's beautiful. The next thing that I couldn't try in store, and I had been like researching and been on my sort of like radar for a while, this is by Kilian. This is I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess, also known as Princess. Now, this came out originally in this hideous sort of ball bottle thing. Came out in this new format, I think only a couple of years ago. Wasn't available in Australia. Wasn't available. Kilian is. Checked out the stand in David Jones quite a few times, but not available in Australia. Then I saw at Sephora, this was in the new section, and I was like, holy crap. So I blind bought it. It is one of the cheaper versions of Kilian. So Kilian has some like more luxe ranges that are much more expensive. This is sort of typical designer price point. I also used a discount code, so got it a bit cheaper. This, in Australia, you can't actually smell it in Sephora. I think it's online exclusive as far as I could see. And this is divine. So again, this is what I would say if you are into fresh scents like me, but you like the idea of a marshmallow, but you don't want something to be too cloying and too sort of like headache inducing. I find Love Don't Be Shy, which is probably their most popular fragrance. that one is very marshmallowy, but very like cloying, and like I smell it and it's just sort of like makes me feel a little bit ick. This one is that marshmallow, but just lightened up and freshened up. So the notes of this, there's marshmallow, I believe green tea and ginger. I don't really get ginger so much. It might add to the freshness a little bit. I get citrus off the bat. Now, the interesting thing is this new bottle on Fragrantica just lists 3 notes, but the old bottle lists a bunch more notes. And I can smell things that are in that original note breakdown. So I think that one is probably more accurate. So I get a lot of freshness on the opening. Then it goes a little bit sort of, I think the green tea also adds a little bit of green freshness to it. And then it settles down to be very marshmallowy, very fluffy vanilla marshmallow, but it never gets into that really icky zone because it's got some of those fresh notes that back it up. It's beautiful. I feel like this is a very inoffensive fragrance. So if you like marshmallow, you like fresh, this is pretty much perfection. The only problem is that it doesn't last all day. It does fade down to like a skin scent, like a vanilla-y, beautiful sort of, again, not too sweet skin scent, but this is so lovely. If I want to smell yummy, but I don't want it to be too overpowering, this is what I wear. For example, I went to the dentist the other day. I knew someone was going to be in my mouth. I used this. It's nice, it's pretty, it's feminine. It just makes you feel like a bit like a princess, but it's not in your face, dominating, really, really strong, but it's really lovely. I love it. Oh, it's so yummy. It's so yummy. Something that I wouldn't wear to the dentist because this is very strong. I blind bought Whiff of Wafflecone by Imaginary Authors. I love this. I love this so much. Now, this technically is available in store in Australia. In Melbourne, there's Law Perfumery, which is lovely. They stock this brand, but when I went to go check it out, this was out of stock. They didn't actually have it like out that I could smell. I saw it on sale on a US-based website and took a punt and hoped that it was going to pay off. I love this. Holy moly, I love this. Now for me, so let's just backtrack a little bit. This one I would wear all year round. It's sweet, it's lovely, it's inoffensive, it's a little bit like, it's not juvenile is what I'd say. It's like sweet and feminine, but like it doesn't smell like a Britney Spears fragrance or something. There's something a little bit like elevated about it. This one you could definitely wear any time of the year because the freshness means you can wear it in summer. The sort of fluffy marshmallowness would work really well in winter, but it's just very light. I'd go something a little bit heavier in winter. This one is pretty much cool weather only for me. And this is a powerhouse of a fragrance. So it does have notes of vanilla, salted caramel, Saigon cinnamon, heavy cream, sandalwood, orgate, and scoop shop. To me, it smells like woody maple syrup, but the woodiness has a bit of a char to it. So it's not smoky, it's not projecting smokiness, but there is a little bit of char to it. Now, when you spray it, this to me projects maple syrup, like sugary, syrupy, yummy, gooey deliciousness. It just projects. You've got like a scent bubble around you of this really strong maple syrup scent. And then if you get close, you smell a little bit of woodiness and a little bit of that smokiness. So for me, this is a winter scent. It's beautiful with like coats and jackets. You just get a little like puff of sweetness. It's very yummy. It's very polarizing. It's not going to be for everyone. I would not blind buy this if you don't like really, oh, and it's a beast. Like it wears 12 hours, especially if you spray it on your clothes. It just wears and wears and wears. And then like you'd go wear your cardigan or something like a week later and you can still smell it. Like it lasts and it projects. I'll wear this to like work things, and if we're in an office chatting, I'd have people going, what's that maple syrup smell? I'm like, oh, that's me. So it is one of those things where people will notice it, and it's very distinctly gourmand, so it smells yummy. I even had a comment once where someone was like, oh, I just want to, like, I feel like licking you because you smell so nice. So this is, again, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think it layers really beautifully with other sort of ambery scents or woody scents just to add some sweetness, but it's, yeah, not for everyone. My last one of like the top tier was one that I did a full review on, and this is by Lattafa, and it's Angham or Angham. And this I think was a pretty safe blind buy for me because I have Burberry Goddess, which is, this is sort of like, it's not a replication of, but it's very, very similar. So in the bottle, it smells like Burberry Goddess, but where this differs and where this is just yummier and more scrumptious, it's got the less sharp lavender in the opening, and then it is much more dominant when it comes to like fluffy vanilla dry down. So this lasts, in my opinion, longer than Burberry Goddess. It just smells more delectable and yummy. When I smell myself or I smell my clothes, I'm like, oh, that's so delicious. So this was a blind buy, but it was an educated blind buy. I knew if I liked that one, chances are I'll like this one. And based on all the reviews that I saw, people were saying that this is even yummier version of that and so much cheaper. So this was a very safe blind buy for me, but it is gorgeous. So yeah, if you like Burberry Goddess, you will probably like this one, possibly even more. That's the consensus, and I think it's absolutely right. So those were my top 4, which are like, I rave about them. I love them. They're so delicious. I love wearing them. I get excited to wear them whenever I apply them. I'm just like, oh, this is such a good experience, which is what I love from fragrance. The 5th spot, I had to pick a few, so I'll run through these really, really quickly. 2 fruity, juicy ones that I couldn't really pick between. I like both of these from Paris Corner. So we have Khair Fusion, which is pretty much a dupe for Khair lychee one. I forgot what it's called. This one is very fruity. I can smell lychee and black curranty. So it's very, very sweet, very fruity. This one is fun, and I wear this one regularly if I want something that's sweet, but not like pastry sweet or caramel or vanilla sweet. Then I recently got this one on sale. It's Mango Punch. This is yum. This is like, if you've grown up in Australia, this pretty much smells like Cottee's cordial fruit, the fruit cup, sort of very like orange, tropical, sweet, generic fruit. It smells a lot like that, and it is yum. Like, I would probably like a bit of a squeeze of lime in it just to make it a bit more vibrant, but if you like sweet, fruity things, this is sweet and fruity, which I like. I do like it. Got one from Maison Alhambra. This is Delilah, which is a Delilah dupe. So Delilah is a very expensive fragrance. It's very sort of rosy, sweet, powdery, little bit of fruitiness, and this one is apparently quite a close dupe, but for a fraction of the price. And this is what I like to wear when I want to be a little bit more floral, a little bit more girly without like an obvious sweet dominating scent. Yeah, it's nice. I don't know if I like it enough to be like, oh, I need to buy the original at like $400 a bottle or whatever. It's not that nice. I think that one lasts a lot longer, but for a 10th of the price, I'm more than happy to reapply this throughout the day. But it is very pretty, and it's a very like non-offensive, just really pretty fragrance. So yeah, those are my favorite blind buys that I've made. Huge success stories. These are some of my most loved fragrances, and I wouldn't have been able to really try them if it wasn't for blind buying them. So sometimes you do have to take a calculated risk. I also find that once you do find a success story, you tend to possibly trust that brand a little bit more, or that range. So for example, with this one, they have a whole bunch of different fragrances that they tend to be dupes for other fragrances. In this particular sort of like bottle style, I have ordered another blind buy. I've ordered from Fragrantica the purple version of this. It hasn't shipped yet. It's supposed to be another dupe for another fragrance that's quite well loved with vanilla notes. So because I was so impressed by this, it gave me a little bit more confidence to buy from this kind of range again. I don't encourage blind buying, but sometimes it's worth the risk. Anyway, if you want to check out my fails, so the blind buys that I was most upset because I didn't work out, I will have that linked on the screen, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.